Alright, so you can wrap the handle of your knife any number of ways. People tend to try and do the Japanese style. I personally don't like this. For me, it makes it a little too thick, especially when using full 550 cord. Okay, then you can do it more like whipping for a piece of rope. This is where you wrap it around really tight and you actually form a knot underneath it. Yeah, it looks nice. I found something else though. This is one I figured out a while ago. You can weave just about anything, right? Well, I weaved a handle. The advantage of this, for me, is it makes it a little more rolled. Not as thick, but it also makes it a little more form-fitting when you have a otherwise flat blade. To show you what I'm talking about, we'll need a skeleton knife or a knife with the scales removed. And you need to have at least 2 holes at the end. I'll show you why in a minute. These won't work for this. At least not in the way I've found. You may be able to loop it around the outsides, but I haven't messed around with it, and I'm not a particular fan of messing with these. A little too much effort for the effect. So, this is where it's going to be interesting. Take end of 550 cord, fuse it together. Bring it down once, make 1 loop, bring it up again, it's another loop, down, so you have 2 here, up again. It's going to be real tight this way, but we kind of want it that way. And 3 points to whoever said that's what she said. Or 2 drinks. 3 points or 2 drinks. Yes, we can make this a drinking game. Alright. Then we come back down. Now, you have 2 ways of doing this. You can go from the top down or the down up. I'm going to go from bottom up. This is the blade. This is the end. Now, the reason I'm using this particular knife is because it has the molded polymer sheath. Great blade control. Actually takes a little effort to get it out. Yeah, I could use some more of these holes, but they get interfered with by those. If you don't have a knife like this, and you just want to do it on another one, say we were going to do it with this, you can still do it, but you are going to need some of your friendly cardboard. Or cardstock. You're going to have to wrap it and then tape around that to hold it in place. Why? It ensures you get to use your fingers and not cut yourself on the blade. Because I can hold it like this now, and I'm not cutting myself. Okay? So, going to pull out the length from the back. This is where it's going to be interesting. To make an end knot to keep it closed, I'm going to make a figure 8 loop, or a figure 8 knot. It's going to come in, seat itself against the bottom, and I did leave a tail here for a reason. More on that to follow. Remember, you don't need a tail, but a tail is always fun to chase. And if you got that reference, another 2 points. Or a drink. How much 550 cord are you going to need? That's a really darn good question, and I don't really have a good answer for you. The best I can tell you is to loosely, very loosely, wrap the 550 around your handle, or parachute cord if you call it that. Wrap it around the handle enough times that it goes the entire length you want to do, but it also is loose enough that it sticks out more than enough, because you're actually going to be weaving. So, I now have my end here. I have 3 here. On this side I have 2. So, to start, take my end. I'm going to go under, over, since I went over, I'm going to go under, then over, and under. Oh, you can see that? And this is going to be the first important part here. We're going to want to push this down as much as possible. So if you notice here, this comes from under, that goes under. So, the reason why we do the odd 5 number is to keep it an odd number, which means when I come around here, I'm actually going to go over this strand, and under here. Now when I come back around, These went under, so I'm now going to do the reverse. So, yeah, we're back on this side, almost where we started. So we have to go under and over. And yes, this is way more 550 cord than I actually need here, but yeah. So we keep going around like this. Eventually we're going to get to the end. In fact, we're going to do a split take here now and fast forward to closer to the end. Hang on, it's going to be fast. Okay, we're getting near done. But there's a slight problem. You need a screwdriver or a paracord fit. See, what happens is as you get closer to done, it gets harder to maneuver the 550 cord. I'm not even making this up at this point. So, part of what you can do is use your paracord fib or your screwdriver here to actually maneuver it around. What you're also going to want to do is push these down further. The more you slide them down, you get a hardening effect because it actually reinforces itself. Not a lot, mind you, but it does. So here I'm going to go under, over and under, and we need screwdriver here, just a small little flap. Get a little more purchase in there. Now you're probably going to notice a few things occur. This always happens with me. On this side, this strand is going to want to be pulled more towards your edge. And this strand is going to always pull more towards the end. So if you're left-handed, it's going to feel nice and smooth and roll around. If you're right-handed, it's going to seem a little awkward. So depending on which side you start, the 3 versus the 2 may affect it. If you want to do more as a comfort for the right hand, I find you want to have the 3 on this side. If you want to have it more comfortable as left-handed, you're going to want to have the 3 on this side. You probably should have started that well before getting this point. Rather, I should have mentioned that, but oh well. Thanks for coming out. Now, Chuck from Zombie Go Boom thought this looked damn cool. I promised I'd make a copy, upload it, and he may reference you back to this one, or he may make his own. Frankly, I don't care. I kind of actually hope he makes his own because they have all the nice, sweet post-editing shop, and normally I film off either a mobile camcorder I hold in my hand, one of those little one-handed jobs, my cell phone, or in this case it's the webcam off my computer. No, I'm not a rich video producer. I'm not even rich. I work on a government salary, not even a good one. If you watch my other videos, you realize, yeah, working for the government is not always the best job. And I don't even work in any of the glamorous parts of the government. There we go. Now granted, unlike some countries, their government employees can't even afford to have a cell phone. I can afford to have a smartphone and a computer. But, you know, grass is always greener somewhere else, right? Now, we're almost done here. So there are 2 ways to finish this, and they actually depend on the knife themselves. Some knives are like this guy. So we have a hole here and a hole there. Just remember which hole you're going into. And don't trust Apple Maps. Take a drink if you got that reference. So, other ones like this, I only had the one hole to start with. So actually I'm going to do something a little different with it. See, this knot up here, one of the reasons I chose the figure 8 knot, is I get closer to the end. When I come back around here, I'm going to actually tie it into the figure 8. And then you can trim it, assuming you don't want anything left loose. Or you can daisy chain it. In case you want to have a length of paracord to use, and you don't mind having a little extra hanging off the tail. Then again, you know, some women, they see a man with a tail and they just run. Take a drink if you got that reference. Give me a hint. It's from a very gay movie. Alright. So, sliding these in. Now, some of you may be wondering why I'm doing this in yellow. Well, not any sort of bumblebee fetish. I had a bunch of chunks of yellow floating around, and this one was somewhat close to what I would need, as opposed to a lot of my other chunks of 550 cord, which are like this, which are all one huge continuous strand. Yeah, I'm not cutting them off. So, we have here again, your pliers are going to be a wonderful asset if you have them. Or if you have patience and nails, you can pry it open with your thumb and forefinger. So, up, down, following it around. That figure 8 knot is going to become a very thick figure 8 knot. matter that we have left is to tighten everything down, get it all sorted out right. And I missed something here. Now, you can cut it off there and fuse it together, or you can start daisy chaining, whatever you wish. And of course, if you have the multiple entry points, like here, what you can do is you can keep going around. You see I did here. And then I just tucked it in that one hole and knotted it off. Alright. Hope this helps you out. Have fun. Good night.